Back with us on the SportsMax zone, the West Indies hold an unassailable 1-0 lead over Bangladesh heading into Thursday's third and the final T20 matchup in Guyana after taking Sunday's second game by 35 runs in Dominica. After winning the toss and batting, the Windies posted 193 for 5 from their 20 overs. Rovman Powell led the way with an unbeaten 61 from 28 deliveries, while fellow Jamaican Brandon King added 57. Shariful Islam was the pick of the Bangladeshi bowlers with 2 for 40. Romario Shepherd and Obed McCoy grabbed 2 wickets each as the Windies restricted the visitors to 158 for 6. Shakib Al Hassan 68 and Afif Hossain contributed 34. Saturday's first T20 international, also in Dominica, ended in a no result after being rained out. And to get some perspective on that second game is Fazeer Mohammed. Fazeer, well, makes no sense to ask if there is anything new you learned from the second T20I because the answer is a flat no. And just to speak to the manner in which the West Indies went about their work.
Well, it's not going to be a flat no. Maybe it's the amount of hair that I still have on my head that's causing me to move in a different direction with the challenges that you've laid down together with yourself and Linton. I'm not going to let that go by from Friday. But I think the encouraging element to yesterday's play was not just the fact that Rovman Powell, with the nature of his innings, because we know that what he's quite capable of, but the fact that he's been working on his game, especially against spin, and working with his batting coach, the former West Indies Test opening batsman, Robert Samuels, and that is very encouraging to hear. Okay, so sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. Then you might find yourself embarrassed, being completely befuddled by a googly and losing your middle stump and so on. But the fact that you would reveal at the end of the match, getting the man of the match award and so on, that he's been working on his game, that he recognizes that not just for him, but for many West Indies big hitters, power hitters, facing quality spin is a genuine problem. Good to know that he's been working on it.
Yeah. All right. So Powell with the bat. Anything of note you saw from any other batsmen for the Windies in the game?
And I think when you look at the top, Brandon King, his role at the top, and we get carried away, obviously, with the big hitting, with the power hitting. But you look at it, there were 2 significant partnerships, 74 between Brandon King and the captain, Nicholas Pooran, and then 63, Brandon King again with Rovman Powell. And I think that tells you that even in T20, you can play a sort of semi-sheet anchor role by being there while the main man blazes away, because it gives you that reassurance that you've got someone who's well set, wickets aren't tumbling at the other end, and you have to worry about being cautious. You've got someone, and he got runs against the Netherlands like almost everyone else. There was a bit of a struggle against Pakistan in the last couple of matches, especially in that series in Multan. But again, it's about growing in the game. It's a very demanding environment, the international stage, and to see him at the top of the order playing that role, 57 of 43 balls is not shoddy at all. But in the context of what we saw from Rovman Powell, it was almost sheet anchor.
I want to ask you about Nicholas Pooran. We saw 3 poor performances against the Dutch. 34 on in this match, but then the shot selection is something that irks me personally. I don't know about the rest of the Caribbean, because he could have still have been there and along with Rodman and taken this even further into the innings. But are you concerned about Nicholas Pooran's such shot selection, especially in crucial moments of games?
It irks you, Leighton. It drives me crazy. Because you see such sumptuous talent. 40 years ago, Nicholas Pooran would have probably been the automatic successor to an Alvin Kalicharan with his left-handed style. When you think about building an innings, stroke playing all along the ground, this is a different environment. We recognize that. But you'd want to think, especially as you said quite correctly, the way he gets out, it's almost demeaning of a player with so much ability to go swiping towards deep mid-wicket, and really it's unnecessary. Yes, he has all the shots, we know that. Yes, he can put it to the furthest part beyond the boundary, we know that as well. But surely he should have the wherewithal and the understanding that it's not necessarily about crashing it to all parts. He can put it away just as well and minimize the risk. You look at the way he gets out sometimes, tumbling all over the place, reverse sweeps and whatever else. It looks ungainly, but again, this is an environment that calls for the spectacular, but I think in many cases, he's the architect of his own demise.
That's what I think too. And let me just move on to Odean Smith for a little bit here, because we all see the talent that Odean Smith possesses. The thing is, he seems to give away runs, but let's just say he doesn't learn quickly enough on the fly, where he's giving up runs that are not, in my mind, are not necessarily necessary to give up. Given that you learn from a player, I mean, a shot that player might play to a particular ball, and yet you repeat that delivery, hoping for what? I'm wondering whether or not he needs some more remedial work before he's then blooded into the team full-time. What's your thoughts on that?
And again, it's because it's such a demanding environment, and Bangladesh will obviously be a bit more confident in the shorter formats of the game. And it's really up to Odean Smith, as you said correctly, to use your phrase, to learn on the fly. You can't be in a situation where after you've just served up a delivery that's smashed away, you serve up almost exactly the same thing, and you put your hands on your hips, or you're scratching your head and wondering what's going on. They're not going to let it go by. And therefore, you've got to learn, you've got to work, you've got to put in the prep, whether in the nets, whether chatting with Phil Simmons, whether it's with Roddy Estwick and so on. Because you're right, Leighton. You look...
Whoa. Okay, seem to have lost Simon.
Fazeer
for a little bit. I'm thinking Simon still. But yeah, but one of the concerns that I've had is, look, it's a game, and they're not robots, so they're prone to make errors. The thing is, if you bowl a short delivery on a particular type of pitch and a batsman has time to get behind it and pull it in front of square, you know he has time to play that shot. You don't want to give him that ball again. What, are you hoping for a mistake this time? No, you try something different, because you have to get the batsman thinking that you're going to do something different. You have to keep them on their toes, as opposed to having sit back and wait for you to bowl the next ball in exactly the same place, for you to do exactly the same thing.
I think Fazeer is back.
I think Fazeer is back with us.
Yeah, and you're saying exactly the correct thing from my own point of view, Leighton, because, again, this is the demand of T20 cricket. Again, when we use the test match reference, you'd eye up a batsman, weak outside the off stump, outswinger, 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 inducker. You work on him to almost through an entire session. You don't have that luxury in T20. In T20, the very next ball has to be better than what went before, as if it was carted away and so on. So it's a very demanding environment. But again, this is what the players enjoy. This was what brings in the big money. This is what they seem to gravitate towards. And if Odean Smith wants to be part of this, wants to be part of a team that goes to the World T20, qualifies for the main draw, because remember, the West Indies have to go through qualification. Bangladesh are already there. If he wants to be part of that, he needs to up his game immediatamente.
Any reason you see, Fazeer, for Cricket West Indies going the route of having a different white ball coach?
At this point, I don't see it, because I think Phil Simmons seems to be able to make those adjustments, to make those alterations. He's got enough of a support staff. He understands the players quite well. He seems to get along quite well with the players, with the different batches of players, whether they be Test, whether they be ODI, or whether they be T20. And I know that's an ongoing conversation, whether it's too much of a strain on a single individual. Can he make all the necessary adjustments? I think Simmons has shown us enough over the years to suggest that he is quite capable of doing that. It's the fact that the West Indies cricketers themselves, and West Indies cricket is just so infuriatingly inconsistent in so many ways that just makes it more frustrating.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time, my friend. All the best to you. We'll talk again.
Indeed. Take care.
No comment on what Fazeer is here today. We take a break. We come back with more on the SportsMax Zone. Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.